Hey, what's up, everyone? Jonathan Bailor back with another SANE show, and very excited. We actually discovered a bunch of shows that I recorded by myself as a little bonus experimentation right before the Calorie Myth book came out on January of 2014. We just remembered we had these shows and we never aired them. So we're going to air them now. Exciting. So what will follow in this episode is one of these previously hidden pre-Calorie Myth shows. So a little bit dated, but still valuable. I hope you enjoy it. And remember, stay sane. Welcome to the Smarter Science of Slim, the scientifically proven program where you eat more and exercise less to burn fat and boost health.
Eat smarter, exercise smarter, live better. I am so ready for that.
Hey everybody, Jonathan Bailor back with another Smarter Science of Slim show. Got a great one for you this week. We are going to continue on our path to live a smarter science of slim rather than continuing to be duped by obsolete calorie myths that have been disproven for 40 plus years. It's just that we haven't been told about the modern science of eating and exercise. Rather, we've been told that we're fundamentally broken in some way and that we just need to try harder, which is, of course, garbage. I personally do not believe that 70% of the American population just spontaneously became lazy gluttons. And anyone who does think that, well, let's just say they're not making many friends. So anyway, let's dispel these calorie myths. Let's live a smarter science of slim, and let's get started by talking about the fundamental disconnect. The fundamental problem behind these calorie myths is a focus on quantity. The quantity of calories consumed and the quantity of calories expended. Now, it's not that calories don't exist. It's not like calories are like leprechauns and unicorns. Wait, you mean leprechauns and unicorns don't exist? Yes, leprechauns and unicorns do not exist. Calories do exist, but that doesn't mean we need to consciously regulate them, right? Vitamin C also exists, but we don't consciously need to regulate that. Nor do we need to consciously regulate vitamin D or vitamin E or thiamine or riboflavin or phosphorus or magnesium or zinc or anything else. So why would we need to manually regulate calories? It doesn't make sense. What does make sense is that the body is designed to automatically regulate mission critical functions in our body, right? We drink more water, we go to the bathroom more. We sleep less one night, we sleep more the next night. You try to hold your eyes open for a long time, you blink more as a result. You try to hold your breath, you then inhale a bunch more when you stop. The body works to balance itself out. It's called homeostasis. We all learned about it in high school biology, but somehow the powers that be seem to think that doesn't hold for energy. But oh well, we can do better than that. And just 3 quick quotes to get us started understanding this actual self-regulating system. The first is by Ernest G. Ross. I love this quote. About almost any subject, there are the facts everybody knows, and then there are the real ones. Well said. We're going to talk about the real ones today. Vladimir Lenin, someone who we're not big fans of, but this is a smart quote, he said, "A lie told often enough becomes the truth." And that's what's happened with these calorie myths. These lies have been told so frequently that they've become the truth. But don't worry, we're going to do better than that. And then finally, J.R.A. Mitchell, who tells us that what passes for knowledge is often no more than well-organized ignorance. I love that. So let's focus on actual human biology for a second. The thing we've all been taught is that we need to balance calories in with calories out consciously, right? That our body works like a balance scale. More calories in means more fat stored. More calories out means less fat stored. Simple metabolic math, right? Wrong. I know it makes sense, but a lot of things might make sense on the surface, but when we actually understand the science, they don't. One great example is that the earth is flat. Look out your window. It does seem like the earth is flat. In fact, based on your entire life's experience, it would make sense to believe that the earth is flat, because after all, if the earth wasn't flat, wouldn't people fall off? I mean, it just makes sense, right? But it's wrong, because when we understand science, we understand there's things like gravity that hold us on the earth. And when we understand the science that actually underlies human metabolism versus just these theories of 40 years ago, we understand that like gravity changes everything. The fact that your hypothalamus in your brain has specific, clinically proven circuitry that regulates energy balance, and that you have hormones that regulate calories in and calories out automatically, and that you have bacteria in your gut that is designed, that exists to regulate your weight around a set point, is like gravity for the body. It changes everything. So that which seems intuitive, aka just eat less and exercise more and you'll burn fat, seems right, but it's been proven wrong. So instead of thinking about our body like a balance scale, it's better to think of our bodies like a sink, because we got to have a metaphor. That's why this calorie math myth nonsense has stuck around for so long, because it's like, oh, your body works like a balance scale. It makes sense intuitively. So the only way we can overcome that psychologically is to have science that is as easy to understand and has as powerful as a metaphor, but is correct. Because after all, we've seen what incorrect information can do to us. Just look around. Not good stuff. We need to reverse it. So instead of thinking of your body like a balance, I would encourage you to think of your body like a sink. As sexy as that sounds, hey, a balance isn't that sexy anyway. So sink is not so bad. So think about your body like a sink, right? You've got a sink. Now, I don't care how much water you put into that sink, it's just going to drain more, right? So more water into the sink means more water out of the sink. The water level may rise temporarily, but over time, the water just drains out and you're fine. You've got your sink. It's all good. Now think about that sink again like a body, because just like a sink can overflow with water, a body can overflow with fat. Okay, cool. But now sinks, what causes them to really overflow? Right? It's not a lot of water. That's not the problem at all. In fact, we've all probably seen sinks overflow when just little drop of water is going into it over a period of time. What actually makes a sink get overflow? Clogs. A clogged drain. When a sink becomes clogged, any quantity of water will cause it to overflow. So it's not the quantity of water that's causing the sink to overflow. It's the inability of the sink to respond to more water in with more water out because it's become clogged. So the real question is, what is the cause of the clog? Because no one just consistently pours buckets of water into their sink. Yeah, of course, if you take a fire hose and you just aim it at your sink and you go to town, it's going to overflow. Good news is nobody actually does that, right? We don't intentionally gorge ourselves consistently. At least 99% of the population doesn't. We are not struggling with overweight in this country because 70% of us are gluttons. Seriously, that's just ridiculous. So what actually causes a sink to overflow is a clog that removes its ability to react to more in with more out. Now think about the body the same way. When you put what is designed to be consumed by a body into a body, more in equals more out, right? More water into a body just means you go to the bathroom more. And in a normal functioning body, more food in just causes your body to run faster and hotter and you burn more calories. What causes systems, be them sink or metabolic systems, to become clogged and to lose their natural ability to balance themselves out is when we put the wrong quality of things in them. Your shower drain will never become clogged from too much water. It becomes clogged when non-water is put into it, right? If you start pumping hair and paper towels in your sink or your shower or any kind of drainage system, that's when it becomes clogged. It's not a quantity problem, because again, no quantity of water will ever cause the clog. It's a quality problem. Sinks are designed to handle a lot of water. They are designed to take water in. They are not designed to take non-water in. So when non-water goes into them, they lose their natural abilities and they become clogged. And now the sink starts to have standing water in it. It's almost like the sink is regulating around a higher point. There's standing water. And I don't care how much you turn that faucet down, if any quantity of water is flowing into that sink and the sink has lost its ability to react to more in with more out, eventually the sink's going to overflow. You can turn the faucet down as much as you want and forget about how ridiculous it is to, again, live your whole life maybe not using your sink anymore. I'm just going to not wash my hands. Like, no, that's not the problem. The problem is not that you're using too much water. The problem is that your sink has become clogged because the wrong quality of things have been put into it. The solution is not to stop using the sink. The solution is to unclog the sink and to avoid clogging it in the future by avoiding putting non-water in it. The same thing applies to the body. The body's like a sink. Your body is designed to eat food, but 60% of the average American's calories is not coming from food. Let's define food as things you can find directly in nature. I have yet to find a Go-Gurt tree or a Cheerios tree or a bread bush. These things don't exist. There's not fields of honey buns. They just, as delightful as that may sound, they do not exist. Food, things that the body is designed to handle, much like a sink is designed to handle water, are things found directly in nature. Now, when we put non-food in our body, just like when we put non-water in a sink, our body becomes clogged, hormonally clogged, neurologically clogged, gastroenterologically clogged. And then any quantity of food consumed. This is why people will be eating 1,400 calories per day and not losing fat. Because like that sink, even a drip, drip, drip can cause it to overflow when it becomes clogged. When you become hormonally clogged, even that drip, drip, drip of food can cause you to overflow with fat. The problem is not too much in or too little out. It's that a clog has removed the system's ability to balance itself out automatically. How do we solve it? Well, it's not less in, and it's not manually pulling more out. You could sit there with a teaspoon at your sink and just flip water out all day, but that's not going to solve the problem. The clog still exists. How do we remove the clog? We remove the clog through quality. For our sink, maybe we change the quality of what we're putting in it. Maybe we put some Drano in it. Maybe we give it a few good shots with a plunger. Now, of course, that's not what we do to our body. We don't want to give ourselves a few good shots with a plunger and drink Drano, but the analogy continues where instead of drinking Drano, we can eat hormonally healthy foods like non-starchy, nutrient-dense vegetables, vegetables you could eat raw, things you often find in salads. We could eat nutrient-dense proteins, seafood, and grass-fed meats, and we can eat whole food fats, nuts and seeds, and low fructose fruits like berries and citrus. These are like metabolic Drano. They help to clear that clog. And instead of, again, hitting ourselves with a plunger, we don't want to do that. But we can do less, but higher quality exercise. By using more intensity, but doing this very safely, we can essentially force that metabolic clog out. And when you combine that with the right quality of food in, you end up with a healed system and a metabolism that works as it's supposed to, which is balancing you out automatically around a healthy set point rather than chronically overflowing. So it's not too much food. We're designed to deal with a lot of food. In fact, anthropologists estimate that for 94% of human history, we were eating up to 5 pounds of food per day. You do not become obese from eating too much food. Find me a person. If you want a challenge, if you have some time on your hand, find me a person, any person, who has become chronically obese and diabetic and who does not eat starches, sweets, or processed fats. So someone who eats only things found in nature and is chronically obese. This is literally something you will not find. It's like trying to find a 4-sided triangle because it just doesn't, it's not possible. The body will not allow you to chronically overeat the right quality of food. And saying That we cure chronic weight gain by eating less and exercising more is again like saying we deal with a clogged sink by just using the faucet less and scooping more water out with a teaspoon. This problem is the clog that the system itself has broken down, and the solution is healing the system. And the cause of the clog is improper quality, nothing to do with quantity. And the solution to the clog is through improving quality, not by diddling with quantity. And if you need any other reason to help make this transition from thinking about your body like a balance scale to thinking about your body like a sink, maybe think about this. Your brain is going to tell you you're hungry until you eat a certain amount. Fact. Right? You cannot trick your brain into letting you starve. Our entire existence depends on our ability to not starve. Our body doesn't want us to starve to death. So if we don't eat enough, we're going to be hungry. And nobody can live a happy, healthy, maximally effective, and contributing life if they're hungry. Psychology 101, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Food is a fundamental human need. Telling someone to just be hungry and not eat food is like telling someone to just be thirsty for their entire life. It's ridiculous. So when you think about that, not only is quantity irrelevant when we actually understand our body scientifically, like a sink, versus anecdotally, like a balance scale, which doesn't work and led to the major problems we have today, well, then we see that in addition to being what science has actually shown, just from a common sense perspective, the only practical way, the only enjoyable way, the only quality of life maximizing way to achieve weight loss, or more appropriately, fat loss, and robust health, energy, sex drive, mental performance, just to rock your purpose on this earth, the only way to do that long term is by changing the quality of what we eat. It cannot be done by changing the quantity of what we eat. Because if you're like 90+% of Americans, you eat when you're hungry and you stop when you're full. That is a common characteristic amongst both thin and not thin people, aka that the vast majority of people on this planet who have access to sufficient food eat when they're hungry and they stop when they're full. So anybody that tells you to diddle with the quantity of calories you're consuming is saying that you need to be hungry and unsatisfied for the rest of your life. That will not work. It cannot work, and it's ridiculous. So when you understand that from a scientific perspective, quantity has nothing to do with it, and then from a common sense perspective, quantity can't be the answer because it's not sustainable, then you see that quality is the key. Quality allows you to unclog that sink and keep it unclogged, and it also allows to eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full, and to keep up just eating when you're hungry, stopping when you're full, to live a life of abundance, to live a life of enjoyment, to live a life where you can sit down and just eat dinner and smile instead of pulling out a calculator and a pad of paper so that you can calculate calorie counts. Because again, when you enhance the quality of the food you're eating, the system itself heals. You'll feel satisfied when your body actually has enough fuel and has enough energy. And because the quality of your food is high, you will get all the nutrients, vitamins, and minerals you need without over-consuming calories. And you'll tap into the body's natural regulatory systems because, again, they're designed to handle food. But when we put non-food in that system, all bets are off and it becomes dysregulated. So no need to starve yourself. No need to be hungry. No need to think of your body like a balance scale. Instead, and I know it doesn't sound so sexy, but come on. We're comparing it to a balance scale, which isn't sexy either. Think of your body like a sink. Don't worry about using less water or standing there with a teaspoon and bailing water out for hours a day in spandex. Just only put things in the body that it was designed or evolved to handle, depending on your belief system, aka food. Things you find directly in nature. Vegetables you could eat raw. You don't have to eat them raw, but you could eat them raw. Think green leafy vegetables, mushrooms, cucumbers, asparagus, broccoli, tomatoes, peppers, onions, good stuff. And nutrient-dense meats and fish. Salmon is my favorite from a fish perspective, but also things that we don't really eat too much of in this country, like mussels and clams and oysters. These are just delicious and nutrient powerhouses. And of course, let's make sure we're enjoying humanely treated animals, right? We don't want to eat a sick cow. If you do eat meat, you don't want to eat sick cows. That makes you sick. So we want to make sure we're eating cows that were treated humanely and that were fed what cows are supposed to eat too, which is grass and not toxic, starchy, weird feed. And then we want to eat whole food fats. So think nuts and seeds. Some of my favorite are cocoa, coconut, chia seeds, flax seeds, avocados, olives, delicious, good stuff. And certain fruits that are low in fructose but high in vitamins and minerals. Think berries, strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, and think citrus fruits. So oranges, grapefruits, lemons, and limes. If we just put water in our sinks, we could put all sorts of water in the sink because more water in means more water out. And when we eat actual food, instead of getting 60% of our calories from non-food, you'd be surprised how much enjoyment you can have, how much food you can eat, and how great you can feel as your body balances out calories automatically like it balances out everything else automatically. Please don't starve yourself. Free yourself from the scale in your bathroom and the balance scale sitting in your mind. Celebrate your metabolic sink and eat more and exercise less, but do that smarter or do that with higher quality. I'm Jonathan Bailor, and I'll chat with you soon. Wait. Don't stop listening yet. If you like today's show and you want to learn more, feel free to check out my brand new book with HarperCollins called The Calorie Myth. And you can get a bunch of free recipes and bonus materials over at the book's website, which is caloriemythbook.com. Again, that's caloriemythbook.com. An amazing amount of free stuff and also wonderful science and a 5-week program, recipes, how-tos, just mind-freeing and body-liberating, energy-raising, and waist-slimming goodness. I'm so excited about it. I think you'll enjoy it. Again, The Calorie Myth over at caloriemythbook.com. I'm Jonathan Bailor, and again, remember, eat more and exercise less. Just do that smarter. Wait, don't stop listening yet.
You can get fabulous free SANE recipes over at carriebrown.com.
And don't forget your 100% free eating and exercise quick start program, as well as free, fun, daily tips delivered right into your inbox at bailorgroup.com. That's BAILOR group.com.